is up, everyone? This is Captain Eon speaking. And for today's share, I'd like to briefly just see if I can expound upon the idea of supermax. And this is coming from verses 1 to 3 of the script that God wrote for me today. Now, of course, everything coincides, and how everything coincides with me today, in and through God, is this. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, or possibly today, no, I think it was yesterday. In any case, I just recently was able to hear one of the brethren share, and I've actually included the link to said video. But the topic was about high stakes, the high stakes of grace. And something in that really stuck out to me. And it really coincided with what God had to say to me today, what God has prescribed for me today in the script through the life of my brother Paul. In the fact that I can relate also, or how the idea of Paul talking about being a prisoner of Christ coincided with what God was saying to me through our brother yesterday in the aforementioned message or share regarding the high stakes of grace. So if I truly can relate to God, relate to God as my brother Paul did as a prisoner, then if I am a prisoner, like all those who are incarcerated, it's important that I decide early on how I'm going to choose to do my time. Now, publicly, I just have to first start by publicly apologizing to you, Lord, for not being more appreciative and for my seemingly constant insistence on continuing in insolence and insubordination. Now, Lord, for those that are hearing out, get away from all these big college words. But what I just wanted to again publicly say, Lord, is not only I'm sorry, but more importantly, thank you that despite all of that, despite me, you still remain you, and you still continue to be ever faithful, and you still continue to guide me and to show me, even in the midst of me, especially in the midst of me, because that's where you are. I can still make out your direction. And again, God, thank you. And I believe I have realized where I keep going wrong in this particular development of my incarceration in grace. And to address that, that's this idea that was introduced to me through my brother in the message, where he talks about being under grace, not being less restrictive as the law, but actually grace comes in, fulfills the law by superseding it, by actually raising the bar. The example he used that I'm thinking of was the law says you are not to lay with a woman, the physical act. Okay, and then it comes with the penalty. But then grace comes in, and yes, grace makes room for falls, but the standard of grace says, yes, you are not supposed to you're not supposed to lay with a woman, but you're actually gonna go a step higher now and not even think about that in your heart. Because now that is the standard. It's no longer the external, but it's now based on the source, the internal. So I'm supposed to be disciplined in such a way that I'm the model prisoner. And again, where I keep going wrong, I'm finally getting it, is that I'm seeing I'm getting a better idea of how things are to run, because God is teaching me directly every day. And as I'm seeing the misalignments in my life, in life around me, in the things around me, within the body I'm speaking of, because again, this is all about Jesus, and being a part of the body of Jesus, then it's all about us, because it's all about him. So speaking of seeing these problems is where I'm going wrong. Because all I'm doing by speaking on the wrong, the injustice, the misalignments, is just applying hot, smelly air to the problem. And of course, nothing good is coming of it. So God is instructing me in love that as a truly grateful inmate who has been convicted by his love, if I really want eternity off for well done behavior, then my time should be spent involved in a little light of mine. Ooh, couldn't even read my handwriting there. And I was trying to be fancy with the big wordplay. So I'll come back again, leaving this in because this is the whole truth. So I'm going to do that again without all the fancy stuff. So as this prisoner, like I can relate to my brother Paul. And I'm a prisoner in the supermax. Because again, the prison of grace, it's maximum security, the highest level. So if I'm really, truly a grateful inmate in the, God forgive me, I don't want to be blasphemous, but to stay with the theme, this facility, this kingdom of heaven on earth, if I want to remain a grateful inmate of this kingdom that is ruled by love, then I need to spend my time and energy and resources that are available to me in church refreshment, in making sure that the rest of my fellow inmates that I get to do eternity with, that the health, wealth, safety, and relationship with the Christ officer, the CO, my purpose, the way I am going to choose to do my time is again in the service of my fellow inmates for the complete refreshment of the entire inmate population. Kept on this. For God's church, refreshments have been provided. Sir.